So good morning, everybody. I hope you all doing well today. Today is the 17th of February, 2026, and we don't have a lot going on. I mean, some wide coverage out west here, just rain and snow, impactful snow in the California mountains, and also along the northern coast of California in the higher terrain here. Intermountain West getting some snow, which is good for the snowpack. Colorado Rockies, not so much. Even into Arizona, getting some rain this morning and some snow up here into the northeast. So, and some freezing precip. But overall, some wide coverage, but not especially impactful, except if you're trying to drive through the passes here. Anyway, welcome to my channel. I hope y'all doing well, like I said, and I appreciate y'all watching. So I went over 1,000 subscribers yesterday. I appreciate that. If you don't mind, if you haven't liked my video, if you like it, subscribe, share with your friends, and if you have any comments or questions or anything you want to talk about, please leave them in the comments below. And so let's get started here. Wow, we got a lot going on this morning as far as current hazards. Just everything's in the Rocky Mountains and to the north here with some dense fog further to the east. But other than that, you got winter storm warning, winter weather advisories, winter storm watches, blizzard warnings, just some high wind warnings, wind advisories, high wind watches, red flag warning for fire conditions with the downsloping winds here in the Colorado and points to the east of the Rockies, high winds in Intermountain West, just winter storm watches interspersed with winter storm warnings and wind warnings in Intermountain West, all the way to the west here, parts of Nevada, Idaho. Almost every state has some kind of product here, um, dividing the nation in half. The east is quiet now, relatively. The west is very active. High wind advisories in Southern California, California mountains, winter storm warnings. Just a lot going on here. Some flood warnings in the rivers here along Mississippi, probably because of ice jams, things like that, maybe. But overall, there's no flood warnings going on out west here. So just a lot of hazards on the map this morning. So as far as the 7-day outlook for middle Georgia and Georgia in general, highs in the 60s to 70s to near 80 towards the end of the week, maybe near 85 here in far southern Georgia, with increasing rain chances towards the end of the week. Even Saturday in the near 80, chance of thunderstorms and showers, lows in the 50s. And to start with, it'll be cooler at night, 35 to 40, but for lows in 60s further on, right? Then cooling down into Sunday, maybe some showers in the morning, and then windy on Monday with highs 40 in the 40s to mid 50s, and the lows, wow, 20 to 35. Probably the coldest up there in North Georgia during this period. As in the previous graphic, it shows the rain chances increasing towards Friday, right? Um, so dry conditions until Friday and Saturday, but rainfall chances increasing, right? And thunderstorms could be around, but severe threat is low at this time. As far as today, tonight, and tomorrow, high temperatures in the 60s to low 70s. No precip expected. Tonight, warming up overnight. It'll be not warming up, but it'll be relatively mild. Upper 40s to low 50s. No precip expected. And tomorrow, like in the first graphic, uh, low 60s far north Georgia, mid 70s far south Georgia. So overall, very mild day tomorrow. So what do we got going on for temperatures for the next 15 days? Well, we have a really big warm up, as we talked about in the 7-day forecast. And this is for central Georgia. But you see for highs, my goodness, what a change. Sharp cold front moving through over the weekend. Below normal temps for 3 or 4 days. Then warming right back up as we get into the end of February into the first part of March here. Keep stumbling over my words here. Apologize for that. It's tough getting up at 3 or 4 in the morning every day and doing this, but I do it because I love it. So sometimes it's difficult, but you see the lows are going to be above normal as well. So um, this has been waffling a little bit back and forth for low temps and high temps, but looks right now there's a lot of confidence below normal and for highs and lows here through the period, through the basically the 22nd through the 24th here or 25th. So we'll keep this in mind, and we'll also talk about this in the forecast today. As far as excessive rainfall, this is the only risk we have through 5 days. Southern California, all the way up into Central California coastline here. San Diego, Long Beach, Los Angeles, Bakersfield, Monterey, San Jose, San Francisco, and Santa Rosa have marginal risk of exceeding 20 flash flood guidance within 25 miles of a point. So hopefully not that impactful, but they had some heavy rain here yesterday. So any training of storms or some downpours could lead to flash flooding, especially in urban areas and along the higher terrain as well, as the moisture rises up and a little bit, and it enhances the rainfall. As far as severe weather, we have just some general thunderstorms along the west coast today and up into the upper Midwest and part of the northern high plains here. We see what we got going on with the radar. Seeing the radar, mostly showers and some snow all along the west coast into the Mount West right now. We still have a chance for thunderstorms on the west coast tomorrow and a small sliver of Southern California. Thunderstorms possible here. Again, as maybe some short waves move through the flow into Kentucky, Tennessee, Pennsylvania, Michigan as well. In day three, the SPC has a pretty, well, a slight risk around by marginal risk here. But they do note that there's still quite a bit of uncertainty in model spread at this point. So not a lot of confidence in significant severe weather right now, although the 15% risk is still in play. So when they post an update and we get to the 2 days, we'll be able to see closer what the threats are going to be. But I would say, based on the wording of their guidance today, they're not as bullish as they were yesterday on the evolution of this. But as we all know, that could change, so we'll have to keep an eye on this. And obviously, this day is going to be the most impactful day. So this would be, let's see, Thursday during the day or in the evening. So I'll discuss this a little bit in the forecast. So the 3 to 7 day hazards outlook. Well, let's take a look here. Heavy precip expected the 22nd here in the Northern California, parts of Southern Oregon. High winds expected on the 19th here along the front range of the Rockies and points south. Severe weather, they're highlighting this area on the 19th here. The SPC has as well, so we'll keep monitoring that. That's the beginning of this period, 19th through the 23rd. High winds on this in the southern Alaska here, the 19th through the 21st and the 20th through the 22nd. So as we start the short term, what do we got going on? Well, from the model guidance, this is HRRR, 48 hours out. In fact, full precip just swinging on shore here, and this will swing to the south, and you have a low developing up here in the northern high plains with the broad flow and heavy rain in Southern California, California mountains, Intermountain West, just unsettled here. And you got this low and moisture and the cold air up to the north here. You get overrunning precip, especially to the west of this low, right? And, we talked about the total snowfall amounts. You can see why in rainfall here in Southern California. We got this large shield here of snowfall that's going to occur, right? And frozen precip. So wherever we get this heavy, right, along the boundary, you can have some heavy freezing precip, sleet, freezing rain, and maybe some snow here into Wednesday, right? You get into the extended. This is close to the end of the run, but you see this moisture kind of gets strung out, but you see a heavy swath of snow moving to the north here with it. Overcomes this high pressure to the north, but the high pressure is kind of preventing this from really moving that far, right? It gets strung out and then kind of dissipates. Then you see beginning is another surface low forming over the Rockies here, with maybe some showers into the Tennessee Valley, and the return of moisture out west here into Northern California. See, we get a little bit of a break, and then more moisture crashes on shore here. But it doesn't look like a flooding risk at this point, so we'll just have to keep an eye on it. But this is the short term here. As far as temperatures in the short term, cooler out west, but you see how warm it is just to the east of the Rockies with this surface cyclone way up here. I mean, this is incredible, nearly 100 degrees, 80s, 70s, all the way up into um, Colorado, well, east of Colorado here, Kansas, Nebraska, even into South Dakota, potentially near 70. That surface cyclone moves to the east and brings cold air down behind it, and we have some warmer temps and maybe some lingering cooler air in between this here, right? As we get this surface cyclone developing here, may bring some more moisture further to the north, although this is pretty uncertain here at this point where exactly this low is going to go and how impactful it'll be, right? Still a lot to work out with this. Cold air to the north here is poised to move to the south, and I think we're going to talk about that in the extended outlook, the long range outlook, with the NAM and then the long range models. As far as snowfall goes, highest impacts through the next 4 days appear to be out west, and this is a graphic showing the probability of exceeding warning criteria, with the purples with most confidence out west here, Intermountain West, into the northern high plains, the upper Midwest, parts of the Great Lakes here, maybe some lake effect, lake enhancement here, and South Dakota, Nebraska, and some areas into Montana and Wyoming, and the higher terrain of the Rocky Mountains as well. As far as snowfall through the period, this is through Friday, Thursday night into Friday, right? High snowfall amounts are here into the Sierra Nevada, the higher terrain here, possibly up over 100 inches, especially in the higher terrain here, even in the higher terrain just to the north of the big cities here, right? And so if we go through the period, we can see the highest amounts here where they are Wednesday, Thursday. Higher totals here along the Great Lakes, and up into the northeast. This moisture shifts to the east and to the north, with maybe the return of more precip into the California mountains as we get towards the end of this model depiction. Maybe some higher amounts here into Wyoming, Nebraska, and Minnesota, and Massachusetts, Vermont area. You see the southeast in general in the middle part of the country is void of any kind of snowfall during this period. As far as significant ice accumulation through Friday, the highest probabilities and the most significant icing look to be in northern Michigan, parts of Minnesota, North Dakota, and New York State, right? And we go start Wednesday. This is where this highest amounts are. Wednesday into Thursday into Michigan, and this moves further to the east and southeast with that stalled boundary here, even into New York. I don't know why I did that, but if you look at almost maybe a quarter inch of ice here Thursday into Friday, right? So again, it starts off in the northern part of the U.S. and shifts eastward as we go through time with this here. So we look at the total amount of precip expected here. As far as rainfall goes, the most will be along the California coast here, right? And in the higher terrain, total liquid equivalent is really high here. So that means heavy snow, right? And so other areas up to the north here, of course, have higher amounts as well. Now we start this on Wednesday and move through Thursday. Higher amounts shift to the north. right? And we have maybe some pretty heavy rain here and potential flooding risk here in the central part of the country as we get to the extended, right? And the return of moisture out west as well. So, so yeah, the west is going to maintain just the unsettled weather through the extended. As far as the 8 to 14 day period for hazards, the risk of heavy precip is what we all started out with here. A slight risk the 25th through the 27th. Just generally in the Ohio Valley into the Mississippi Valley, Tennessee Valley, and um, not really lower Mississippi Valley, but this area here. And right, and out west here, 24th through the 2nd. So this whole area, this whole time frame, moderate risk of heavy rainfall, moderate risk the 24th to the 25th further to south, and a slight risk encompassing this whole area, the 24th through the 2nd. Snowfall looks to be quite impactful here. A lot of heavy snow further in the north, not as far south as it was during the short term here. Um, Generally, the 24th through the 2nd, in the northern part, all the way down to the central Sierra Nevada range this whole period. Slight risk the 24th through 28th in Intermountain West. A slight risk the 24th through 27th here, um, upper Midwest, and into the parts of the Northeast here along the lakes and western New England. High winds are going to be a factor here out west. You can see moderate risk of high winds through the whole period, depending on the dark brown here is slight risk through the whole area. Moderate risk is highlighted in the dark browns, and a slight risk here in the southern Alaska. Hazardous temperatures look to persist here into Alaska through the period with a moderate risk for the south, a larger slight risk in company half of the state. The 6 to 10 day and 8 to 14 day temperature outlook is characterized by warm temperatures in the central U.S. and moving to the eastern U.S., with the west coast being below normal, east coast being near normal during the up to the 10-day period. The below normal temperatures likely in Alaska, above in Hawaii, and above the near normal in Aleutian Island. As we move the 8 to 14 day, you see what I'm talking about here. Warmer than normal expected for most of the country, with the exception of the western and northern U.S. Continuing to be below normal in Alaska, above to near to below normal in Aleutian Island chain, and above in the Hawaiian Islands. And precip is expected to be pretty plentiful here in the northern part of the country, with below normal precip chances through the two periods here in the southern tier, right? With the highest amounts likely to start the period in parts of northern California to central California, moving further to the north here into Northern California, Oregon, and Washington State, right? And a little spike of the ridge here in the central U.S. with below normal precip chances near normal right along this boundary. Alaska above to near normal to below, near normal to below in the Aleutian Island chain, and above in the Hawaiian Islands. So when we look at the extended, we got this surface low developing here, and this is the European model, and it swings it up to the north here and away, right? And maybe a line of severe storms developing here, but you see the surface low is way up here, right? And let's look at the upper dynamics real quick. Some divergence aloft here, which could provide some impetus for some severe weather. And if we have short waves moving through the flow with this, we could get some severe weather too, right? So we'll have to monitor any short waves. And the SBC has talked about this and where they move through this, right? So going back to MSLP, rain frozen here, just very strung out very quickly here. So, and then we get towards a little bit further extended. The European really doesn't want to do much with this low off the coast to go back to the upper levels. Kind of a strung out system, right? So general west to east flow here doesn't really develop the trough offshore. Keeps a 500 millibar low here. Southwesterly flow here. Another short wave moving through the flow here. Going back to the surface. Cold air pushing down through the weekend here, right? Maybe another low developing off the coast, but as of right now, not expecting anything impactful. And out west, we got the return of heavy precip here. I wouldn't be surprised if we get some more excessive rainfall outlooks as we get towards the extended with this. So let's go to the GFS and look and see what it's doing in the longer term here. So this is Thursday, generally 7 a.m. on the 19th, right? You got the surface low developing, swings it to the north. GFS seems to want to have more precip involved with this, okay? And develop the surface low offshore, and wants to develop some more overrunning here. But this doesn't really develop a nor'easter type system either. But it really wants to dig this trough and bring a surface low. This is a very deep trough here, pretty far to the west, right? And it wants to bring it right off the coast. We compare it to the European during this time frame. It does pretty much the same thing, but if you look at it here, not the same solution. So go back to the GFS. Want to develop a major snowstorm along the east coast. So if I were a betting man, I would say this is less likely. But let's switch to the AI model guidance and take a look and see what this says. AI GFS. It pretty much follows what the GFS is doing here, right? So we got our first system maybe moving out here. It kind of wants to develop that first system more the AI GFS does, right? Develops another surface cyclone with a main surface low developing off the coast here. Pretty impactful nor'easter here with this. What's the European do? It's further out to sea, like it's operational run. So let's look at dew points real quick and temperatures here. Dew points with our initial push of moisture here, severe weather. Dew points look to be marginal in the severe weather highlighted area with the European AI. Let's look at the Euro. About the same thing. Pretty broad warm sector to start with, but marginal dew points here, 50s and 60s, not reaching 60 degrees. Let's look at the GFS. GFS a little more bullish on the warmer temps, moving a little bit further to the north here. And then they get cut off, right? So as it cuts them off, severe weather wanes, but you see how cold the dew points are to the west of this. So very cold air poised to move down to the west. Let's look at the European AI. Well, we do know it's going to be warm down here to the south, okay? So the dew point temperature is a reflection of the air temperature, right? So, and we get through the extended, you see the dew points bottom out here. And with this European AI model, cold air settles in, and then we warm up again with maybe another surface cyclone developing here through the end of the month. European has somewhat similar solution than the Euro AI. GFS doesn't go that far out. We have to go back one run to look at this. Somewhat similar solution, very warm temps, and then another push of cold air to the northeast, and then we have a huge pool of cold air poised up here to the north, and highly uncertain after that. So, all right, well, that's all I got for today, guys. I hope you have a great day, and God bless.